Hello and welcome, students, teachers, alumni, and all of our other viewers who are tuning in right now. And welcome to our Montana FFA virtual career and industry panel. My name is Gwen Simonuk, and I am the executive director of the Montana FFA Foundation. And we are incredibly excited to invite all of you to take part in today's conversation around career preparation and career success, as that is a key part of the mission of the Montana FFA. So I want to thank you all for being present, and we'd like to also thank our sponsors of this panel, who are Reach Higher Montana, Pioneer Meats, and the Montana Department of Agriculture. Right now, we know a lot of our students are at home wrapping up their school year, and this is a great time for them to explore different internship opportunities and even start planning for their supervised agricultural experience work-based learning projects. So we have a great lineup of panelists today who represent a bunch of different industries who can tell us why they value the skills that FFA members are learning through agricultural education. And I know a lot of us have probably heard folks say, well, I'm not from a farm, so why should I be interested in FFA? Our panelists come from service, construction, workforce, trades development, accounting, and agriculture, and they can all share why FFA is important and hopefully give some ideas to our FFA members about different career opportunities for them. As we work through the panel, we're going to have some scripted questions for our panelists, but we'd like to have everyone who has questions for the panel go ahead and type those into the comment box on our Facebook Live, and we'll work through those questions later on in the panel. With that, I'm going to hand the panel over to Randy Bogden, who is serving as our moderator for the panel.
Thank you, Gwen. I'm Randy Bogden with 560 KMON here in Montana. Of course, a lot of you have had a chance to, maybe have had a chance to the various FFA events around the state, and I appreciate you tuning in. We have got a great panel of judges, or great panel of speakers here today. Some folks that certainly got a lot of background in a lot of different industries. So I'm just going to go around and ask each one to introduce themselves real quick, give us a real quick background on their name, their organization, their role, why they chose that, some of their missions, and some of the things that they just want us to know about them. Just a real short introduction. So let's start with Mary Heller with the Mary Heller Agency.
Good afternoon, everybody. So my name is Mary Heller, and I am the owner of M. Heller Agency. And I actually live in Havre, Montana, but I work remotely. So right now I literally am about 25 miles east of Winifred on my home place in the Missouri River Breaks. So one of the questions was how did I choose my career? And really, in a lot of ways, my career chose me. I grew up on a small farm out here in the Breaks, and as a lot of you know, when your parents are farmers, then a lot of times they are also welders, electricians, farmers, all of those types of things. And so I've just always had that desire in my blood. And then through the years in high school, I was trying to figure out what to do, like a lot of young people try to figure out what to do after high school. And I took one of those personality tests at the encouragement of a high school teacher to find out that I'm very good at working with people. I love writing. I love public speaking. So I had to figure out what to do with all of that. And I actually ended up being a secondary education teacher for quite a few years. And the last stint of that found that I was working a lot with the agriculture kids because I was working in a Class C school in Belfry. And then one of our local ranchers got caught up in the brucellosis mess that we had back in 2007 where we lost our status. And my research and writing kind of took over to help those folks figure out what to do in that mess. I ended up getting a job with Congress because of my background and the writings that I had done. And so I ended up in Washington, D.C. As a legislative assistant working on agriculture issues. And then I got tired of D.C. It's a hard, Missouri River Breaks girl, and the big city was not exactly for me. So I ended up in Havre working for a very large regional water project, which also involved, again, the public speaking, the writing, the working with people. And then I ended up at MSU Northern as the director of the Career Center and Industry Relations. So in a way you could say I came full circle, working with students, working with employers, hooking them up together for internships, helping the students figure out their careers and where to go, and then helping those employers find the students that they needed to hire for that. Let's see. So I guess that, trying to wrap that up in a nutshell. My mission of what I do. So I quit Northern back in February because I feel very strongly that there is a huge need for advocates to connect young people who want to get into a career in agriculture or skilled trades with the employers who desperately need them. And so I didn't see enough of that going on in all of my experience, not just at Northern, but my previous experience. And I bring a lot of connections and networking and knowledge and all of that to the table. So I decided to branch out on my own and work with the employers and helping them get into high schools to educate the students of the opportunities that are out there in these industries, which there is a plethora of opportunities. And then also to help educate the high school guidance counselors and teachers of the opportunities, because I think a lot of them don't realize that there are, again, a plethora of opportunities for their students. So that's my mission, and what I set out to do. And what motivates me in the morning is just that same thing that's always motivated me: my background, my love for the agriculture and trades industries, and then the years of experience I have in those fields. And then the other thing, and it alludes to, we hear a lot about, people will make comments that, these kids these days don't know how to work. And I disagree with that for the most part. I mean, there are some that don't, but there's some adults that don't either. But I want to help. I've seen so many young kids work really hard at what they do, whether they're in high school or they're in college or they're going through an apprenticeship, and they have found their level of success. And so I want to help those students in any way that I can to go against the grain on that stereotype. So I hope that was quick enough. That's in a nutshell.
All right, we'll move on to Brenda Burns. Brenda, give a quick background on yourself.
Sure, thanks, Randy. All right, so I'm Brenda Burns. I am a CPA and shareholder with the firm of ZurMuehlen. I'm based out of the Great Falls office. We have 7 offices in Montana, and this is right in my neck of the woods where I grew up. So I grew up in the Eden country, south of Great Falls, and came back to roost there, as you may say. And, the choice of my career, it just kind of progressed. I went ahead and took business classes in high school at Centerville and enjoyed those tremendously. Chose business management as my major at MSU, but understanding that business management, after doing that for a little while in college, it was like I really loved it, but it was missing a component that I thought was really important. As I took my accounting courses, I could see that the language of business is really accounting, so that you can understand how to manage your business, and really they belong hand in hand. And so I went ahead and took both degrees and decided to take the CPA exam because I saw that there was really great opportunity in how I could help people with their ag operations and businesses by being an accountant. And so that just all came full circle by the time I was done. And I luckily landed a position in Great Falls shortly after graduation, and have been with a firm, Hamilton Misfelt, that then became ZurMuehlen. So that's really been a wonderful journey of these last 20-some years. And so when I think about our mission, we've just really revamped it recently, and our passion is to improve the lives of those we work with. And so it really set forth that piece of how we want to improve everything, and that's our coworkers, our clients, and our community. And that really embodies what we do at ZurMuehlen. We really do work hard to fit all those areas, because as a supervisor of staff, I want them to grow. I want them to be the best they could be. I want them to provide the best services to our clients and help them. And also, we are very active in our community, and we want to see our community benefit too. So this really does make getting up in the morning, I never know what's going to hit me. I think that's all of us in business in Montana specifically. I mean, we never know what's really going to come across our plate sometimes. And that's what excites me, is every day it's going to be some helping a client with something, whether it's planning, doing some wealth management, doing some transition planning between generations for an agricultural family, whether it's just basic tax planning. And it's all those types of opportunities that come every day, and you never know quite what they are. And that makes me pretty excited to get up and see what the day is going to present. I enjoy it. Thanks.
Thank you, Brenda. We will move on to Tyler Smith.
Hi, I'm Tyler Smith. I'm a second generation contractor from Havre. My path is kind of conventional in family business. I started out from when I was 4 years old, being out there on job sites with my father. That progressed through high school, graduated Havre High in 1996. And then I spent a couple years working in Western Washington doing heavy civil. I really enjoy the mark that civil construction leaves on society, whether it's, water and sewer projects that create a better living for people, or roads and bridges that allow them to get to work or get to their passion. What motivates me in the morning is the desire to make the world a better place and to build things that stand the test of time. We take great pride in that. I own two businesses. The first business was our family business, which is Lakeside Excavation. We're based in Havre. We work predominantly on the High Line, specializing in governmental work. We do lots of different things. Just being a contractor in Montana, you have to be multidisciplined. And our second business is a gravel and ready-mix concrete business called Rock Salt Materials. Again, operates in a 3-county area, predominantly Hill, Blaine, and Shono counties. I think I'm very honored to be included in this conversation. I am in some management roles for the Montana Contractors Association. Just got off the chairmanship of our local fair, and just involved in a lot of leadership type activities throughout the state, and I'm quite honored to be participating today. Thank you.
Thanks, Tyler. And finally, Mr. Bill Himmelberg. Coach, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm also a second generation family businessman, kind of like Tyler was. I started working at McDonald's when I had a very young age. My father was hired by McDonald's in 1966, the year before I was born, so I grew up with it. He worked directly for Ray Kroc, and so I grew up at the highest levels of McDonald's all through my life. We moved to Montana when I was just starting high school, and I'd been working with my dad all that time before then, getting ready to take over the business. When I graduated high school was the plan, and that's kind of what happened. I never went to college. I was one of the youngest McDonald's operators in the country at that time, and took over and became a McDonald's operator at 21. But I started running the restaurants when I was 18. I had 200 people that worked for me at that time. We opened a third restaurant shortly after that. And I've been with McDonald's my whole life, pretty much. My son's going to take over for me afterwards. We've had a number of people work for us, go on to own McDonald's, and I've been able to, fortunately, help some people reach their goals in their careers. We have lots of doctors, lawyers, a number of people that have gone on to all different kinds of things, accountants, real estate agents, all different kinds of things who work for us at McDonald's and started their career there. We really see ourselves as a place where you start your career. A lot of people's first job, you learn a lot of disciplines that are going to be able to help you go on with the future and really learn to work as a team, which kind of led me to the next level of my life. I'm also the head women's basketball coach at the University of Providence. I've done that for 10 years, and I love building teams, and working at McDonald's is really about building teams. We're here to service Great Falls community as a restaurant, and we serve Great Falls over every month, 3 times the population. Basically, we serve that population 3 times a month, the entire population of Great Falls. That's how many customers we go through. So we really see ourselves as a situation where we develop young kids to go on to be greater things. We have policemen, firemen, doctors, lawyers, all who started with us. And we're very proud of that, and proud of what the people who started with us and learned some basic skills and responsibilities have been able to go on and accomplish. And we also now are able to provide some scholarship help for them along the way also, which is great. So those things are all really important to us. And for me, getting up in the morning, I love being part of the team. That's why I'm the coach at the University of Providence. I love putting together teams. I love working with young citizens who are trying to accomplish things. And it really gives me the opportunity working at the University of Providence and working at McDonald's every day to get up and put together great teams to run the restaurants and a great team to put on the basketball court and be successful in society. So that's a little bit about what I'm about.
Thank you, Bill. The first question is for the entire panel, and so we will start with Mary on this. And the question basically is that change is inevitable. If you don't believe that, look at the last 2 months and see whether obviously change has been a prime focus. Take a look at the last 5 years. What are some of the primary changes you've seen, and what are some of the things that you see that are going to change in the next 5 years? Mary, if you would kick us off on that.
Sure. Well, I have to say that because of my passion for ag and the skilled trades, I think one of the biggest changes that we've seen is the rise in technology. Just the fact that we're all able to do a virtual discussion today speaks loudly on that. But the ag industry and the trades industry rely a lot on the development of all of the new technologies. And with that, they have to have employees that can not only do the basics and understand the basics, but they also have to be able to keep up on the latest technologies. And that's everything from, I was talking to a large commercial plumbing contractor in Great Falls the other day, and they use BIM technology for all of their design of their mechanical systems. It's no longer the blueprints and the old style of doing things. They have like 3D dimensional computerized technology that they use to design these systems on a large scale. The ag industry, the diesel industry, look at all of even our cars, that we drive, look at how much technology is involved there. So I think that's one of the biggest changes. And to prepare for that, I would say just to get educated on it. If you're interested in anything in the ag or skilled trades industries, you need to get educated on what's out there, and that's whether it's getting certified in something or going into a 2-year or a 4-year type of institution that's going to help you get there. So did I answer that correctly, I hope, or filled in all the blanks anyway?
There are no wrong answers. All right, Brenda, how about you? What have you seen the last 5 years in the industry, and what do you forecast over the next 5?
All right. So our industry has evolved tremendously with technology over the last 5 years. The idea that you're going to sit behind a desk and just have all this paperwork around you, crunching, filling in the blanks and crunching numbers, that is just not a picture of what our accounting industry looks like. I mean, we have people that specialize in technology itself to help serve our clients. We have the ability to use the data that's out there to crunch the big data, as you may call it, to be able to extrapolate information and produce financial statements, to produce forecasts, budgeting, all those kinds of things in terms of planning. Other parts of it is that, we're able to meet with you remotely via conferences like this too, so that we have our ag clients that it's not always easy to get in during a snowstorm in February to come see their accountant, and there's ways that we can do that. And so I think that it will continue to see that in the next 5 years, we anticipate even greater changes with how our industry works, and that it's going to be the things that, whether it's valuation of properties, valuations of businesses, all the different kinds of areas will continue to be more and more data driven, and the ability to extract that data and understand it, but communicate it to people. You cannot have a bad communication set of skills in this industry for sure. You need to be able to relay the information in an understandable format to folks so that they grasp what it is and they can use it. Data can be a lot of things, but if you can't understand it and you can't use it, then it's not worth anything at that point. So Lots of new technology coming out all the time, and I think we have a lot of exciting things that folks will be able to do as they start careers.
Thank you, Brenda. Tyler, how about you? The last 5 years in construction and your line of work, and what do you see coming down the road?
You know, I was so excited to address the no wrong answers. I just was so excited about that. So in the last 5 years, we have seen more work and less workers. There is a lessening desire for blue collar work. And in the construction industry, we have historically used money to motivate that workforce into our line of work. Keep in mind that on our public projects, if you're an equipment operator, you can make, you know, in excess of $45 an hour. And that just does not motivate workers like it once did. So we're seeing a shift in how we do things. The next 5 years, technology has been ramping up in our industry, like all industries. And so what we can do now with technology is absolutely crazy. We can go out and we can do curb and gutter that is an eighth of an inch accurate over thousands and thousands of feet, just with GPS, just with technology advancements in the last 5 years that was not able to be done 5 years ago. So you're going to see that change. We're going to see, in my opinion, more work, and we're going to see a shift to the autonomous side. So, you know, Google and Uber are all working on self-driving cars and trucks, as well as John Deere and Case are working on self-driving tractors. Caterpillar, that's all going to come to the construction side. So the new work is going to be more autonomous. The rehab of existing might be a little that way, but it's still going to require lots of boots on the ground. So that's kind of my past 5 and future 5 outlook.
All these kids that are using joysticks, they'll be perfect for those tractors without chairs, right?
Absolutely. And even now, Caterpillar is doing a thing where you can do remote work at a console. You can be running a machine that's literally 1,000 miles away in a hazardous atmosphere like an underground mine, where this person never goes in the mine. They're never in harm's way, but doing all the work that any other person would. So there's some exciting technology things that are coming to the construction industry, no doubt.
Thank you, Tyler. And Bill, you're in an industry that's in constant change. What are some of the greatest changes you've seen in the last 5? And clean off that crystal ball and tell us what the next 5 looks like.
You know, there are so many changes that happen. Technology has been such a big piece of it, but by far the biggest thing that's happened in the last 5 years is the move towards cashless society. In our industry, we went from, 10% or 5% cashless to almost 70% cashless now, where all of our business comes through debit cards, credit cards, the use of cashless payment systems that are free, using their phone, all different kinds of operations that. So, we run through millions of dollars a year in cashless right now. And I think that's going to continue. And, in the future, cash will really become a lot more obsolete. Everything's going to be online and go. That's one of the things we really see. The biggest thing I really see coming is artificial intelligence. The AI stuff is going to be huge. The stuff I've seen, I think Tyler's talking about some of that. The AI stuff in our industry is going to be tremendous, and it's going to be important for me for the next generations to be able to communicate and be able to put together teams of people that can network. Right now, that's kind of a big thing we talk about a lot with our kids. They have some trouble sometimes communicating, and that's going to be, I would really encourage you to learn how to form teams, learn how to communicate and get your point across, and be able to get people to work collaboratively as a group through technology, with technology, in conjunction with it, and then being able to explain how things work and get people to work together is going to be really imperative to be successful in the future. There's technology is going to continue to grow in my mind, and there's going to be jobs and lots of jobs that are spawned because of the technology that will take place, but there's going to be more things that you can do. I've seen a tremendous amount of difference. I work with a lot of the female athletes at the university. I've seen a lot of our females, and it's encouraging to see them in doing some of the industrial stuff during the summer. We have girls working big tractor, big separating machines for the recycling plants on metal and steel, and all the different kinds of stuff. So, I probably have 4 or 5 girls right now, taking some of those $45 an hour jobs during the summer and doing that. And that's exciting. And it's exciting to see the opportunities that some of my ladies have been able to get, and being able to utilize that industry to help them go on and be a doctor or a lawyer, and being able to help fund some of their summer stuff to be able to go on and do that stuff. So, I think that's going to be imperative in the future, to be able to combine more, be able to work in more than one discipline. I think, where she talked about accounting tying right with business couldn't be more correct. And I encourage all of our girls in business to try and do dual with accounting, because I think they tie hand in hand.
Bill, one of the things you said there is communication, and it doesn't matter what industry you're in, but communication is key, correct?
Oh, no question. I think that's going to be an imperative part, and being able to communicate face to face and being able to build relationships and build trust and then build synergy in teams is going to be a really big thing to be successful in the future.
Okay, we're going to move on to this question is directed at Mary. Clearly, our students will have some big challenges to address in their future. Your work focuses on providing awareness and education of career opportunities in the skilled trades. What areas or jobs provided by Montana Trades employers offer some of the greatest potential for FFA members?
Oh my gosh, in a nutshell, just pick a trade. There's just so many opportunities. Tyler speaks very well about his industry, of course, with his knowledge and background and expertise. So if it's something they want to get into with heavy equipment operation, I know Tyler is a huge advocate for helping students. He's on the Education Foundation Committee for the Montana Contractors Association. So heck, reach out to Tyler and talk to him about ways and avenues to get into the type of work he does. There's plumbing. I'm an advocate for picking whatever path is going to help you find the best avenue, the best way to get to your career goals. So if you're interested in plumbing, for example, MSU Northern has a plumbing program that's a 2-year program. You could look into that and see what's involved with all of that, and the types of work they do, and the hours of apprenticeship you get out of that. Or if that's not your avenue and you don't want to do that, then you can find a plumbing contractor that will hire you as a laborer, and then they will help you through the apprenticeship program, working for that company. So there's just a plethora of opportunities out there. Welding, we have some amazing schools in the state that that help students. Helena College, Great Falls College, MSU Northern, as well as employers that again could hire you on as an apprentice, and help you get down the road and get you the certifications and things that you need. So basically, the trades industry is hurting for employees. Like Tyler said, it's not so much the money that's attracting them that's working anymore, but it's just how do you get students and young people interested in these careers that offer amazing opportunities, and they're struggling with that. I think maybe one of the things is what I alluded to before is, young people have this reputation, the stereotype that they don't want to work. But I have seen young people work. I know they can work. FFA is an excellent organization that helps those students. The rules, the guidelines, the things that the organization does to grow the leaders, the future leaders, is relevant in the industry, and that's what FFA does. So I'm here to help with just the background that I have and all of the different schools that offer the different certifications in the different fields that are out there, and connecting to the employers. There's so many employers that are, because they are in the situations they're in, we have employers that are offering sponsorships. They are paying students tuition to go to school. Pick a school in your area and expertise, or what you want to get into, whether it's diesel technology or plumbing. And there's people out there that are actually taking you in, and they will pay for your education. You work for them. You sign a contract to work for them for a couple of years, which is nothing. 2 years goes by like that. So there's just amazing opportunities in any of the skilled trades industries. So I think what young people need to do is figure out what they really like and enjoy. So is it fixing things? Is it building things? Is it creating things? And try to figure out where that would fit, and then do your research to see where should you go get your education beyond high school. Is it a certificate route? Is it an apprenticeship route? Is it a 2-year route or a 4-year route at an institution? And I'm here to help with that. I'm more than happy to help with that. But I know that people like Tyler and the other folks on the panel can help guide with that too. So reaching out to the employers is key. I hope I answered that okay. Again,
I want to add something real quick. It's okay not to know what you like. So if you're a student and you say that you come from an agricultural background and you show up at my business and you say, I don't know if I'll like this, but I want to come work. I'm going to give you 100%. I'm going to show up on time. Every employer, and I think, Bill, you can agree with this, is going to say, let's bring you in. Let's give you, the training and tools you need, and see, it's okay. This industry is not for everyone, but I would encourage people to, one, if you come from an agricultural background, lead with that. They have great skills. They know about, the safety side of running equipment and, what's on the line as far as the value of equipment, how important it is to those operations, and go see what you may like or don't like. It's okay to work at something and say, it's really not my thing. I'm going to try something else. But in today's employment atmosphere, just go talk to those businesses and say, I'd like to try it. And I think you'd be surprised at what the answer you'd hear.
And that'll actually kind of lead us into our next question, which I will direct towards Bill. Kids are required to have a supervised agriculture experience job or program. That's part of being an FFA. McDonald's is one that's considered your best first job. That's I think the moniker that they've had for a lot of years. When you're looking at your employees, these students, first of all, a lot of them, it is their first job. What is your expectations of them, and what should their expectations be in a very first job?
When we're really looking at a first job, we really want some really basic skills. We want you to show up on time. We want you to be enthusiastic. We want you to look the part and make sure that you have a receptive attitude to being trained and developed. That's all we're really asking for. It's really basic, simple things. We're going to teach you the rest and teach you everything you need to know. We want you to show up on time and give us your best effort, have a great attitude, and be receptive to learning and doing what's asked of you. If you do those things, you're going to be successful with us. You're going to have some opportunities to manage some people, be managed by some people. We have a lot of people we want to put in situations after they work for us for 3 to 6 to 9 months where they're going to supervise some other people and have to train and develop. And then hopefully they're in a situation where, they figure out what they want to do as they go along. And maybe it's go to college, maybe it's to go into a trade. All those things, we encourage. And maybe it's not for you to stay with McDonald's the whole time. For some people it has been, and it turned out really well. I worked with Colette in high school, who was one of my store managers, and she runs one of my restaurants now, and she's been with me for over 30 years. And her and I have worked together, and she works great and has had a great career with us and been very successful. We've had some people work for us for 20 years, 25 years. Frank Borelli, who worked for us and then went on to the Air National Guard, retired from us and then went with the Air National Guard. We've had some people work for us for 10 years and then become police officers because that was their their dream or their goal. So we're an avenue to help you get to where you want to be, maybe. But if not, then you can come work for us, and maybe it's a career where you want to own your own restaurant. We've had a couple people work for me and go on to own their own McDonald's. Those are all great things for you too. But the biggest thing is come in, work hard, be prepared to go. And, when you come, make sure you're ready to go. And when it's time to leave and time to move on, do it correctly. Put in your 2 weeks notice, work together, talk to us about it, because there's so many things we can do to help you along the way, which, right now we probably have 25 people whose parents work for us and now their kids work for me. And those people, they want their kids to have that same experience they did. And none of their parents are still working for me. They're off to do other great things, and they just had a really successful life. The other part is we offer some scholarship opportunities, which are really great. You can get $2,500, your first year, and $2,500 every year after that for college, which is really helpful. So for not working very many hours, 15 hours a week for 90 days, and you could get there. So, that's some opportunity. If you need some scholarship money, have a summer job. Work 15 hours a week for 90 days this summer and pick up $2,500. Continue to do it through the end of the year. And January 1, you'd pick up another $2,500. So you could get $5,000 your first year to help you to where you want to go for not very much work. And then you get the experience. I like kids who have experience on their resume, doing all different kinds of things, not just working for us. So when I'm an educator and looking to bring people on the University of Providence, those are things we're looking for. And I really love girls in the 4-H. We have several of them who, have an agriculture background who play for me, and I love that. And we love girls that work in construction. Like I said, we have 3 or 4 girls who are doing that and are not afraid to get in there and mix it up. And I think that just shows a lot about work ethic. We have a lot of great kids who have work ethic. I never worry about that. There's a ton of kids out there who want to work hard and do great things. I think it's, it's easy to complain about the younger generation. I think people do that. I don't find myself doing that. I love the workers we have. I think they work as hard as anybody we've ever had.
Thank you, Bill. Brenda, one of the things that FFA kids have a struggle with is they're out in the country trying to find jobs because they are out there quite a ways. They have responsibilities of the farm and ranch. Your background in agriculture, as well as your experience as a CPA working with ag businesses, what do you see as a viable option for students in these communities to develop a plan of entrepreneurship projects who can then lean on a mentor and guide their decisions? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, there's some great opportunities. And, when you look at the ability to do something, whether it's if you're on a ranch type operation and you're able to start, building your own herd, you have the ability to go get a loan, right? Some of the farm service and those agencies offer young farmers some loans, and those able to go ahead and learn some of that, learn the finances, learn the abilities. They come from a background. That's some wonderful ways of entrepreneurship there in terms of starting their own agricultural enterprise and being able to fulfill those requirements, whether it's part of 4-H or FFA, and also meeting with lenders and mentors throughout that process. I also see that that students in that area, if they're able to market, find their skill set that they can market to be able to utilize. Maybe they do like to be able to fix things, or how they might be able to get into that a little earlier and start learning some of the basics of things and being able to help others gain those skill sets, whether they're able to, hop over to a neighbor's farm because they're like, well, if you know how to operate this piece of equipment, that's great. And you know some basic mechanic skills, this is super too. You've got those abilities there. But I do see some great opportunities in the animal side, and also actually on the crop production side too. If they take a strong look at what, if they can talk to their parents or talk to a neighbor about starting a small plot of land and sort of getting the idea of how those economics work. I think there's a lot of opportunity there still without being close to the city. At the time, gas rate was kind of expensive. I know my dad wasn't excited about me driving to work in town every day for the cost. So there's certainly those ways to be able to do it at home still.
You and I are in the same boat growing up out in the country. Of course, my dad just drugged me to the packing house every day, so I had a ride to work each day. So I was never late.
You did, yes.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. Perfect there.
Yeah. Tyler, I'm going to move on to you. Being in the construction industry, you see kids that have ag backgrounds, you see kids that have non-ag backgrounds through STEM and other programs in their school. What are the kind of attributes and attitudes are you looking for in employees? And how do those skills that the FFA members have, how do those lend themselves to your industry?
So, the number one thing that we look for is attitude, because we can train everything else, but I cannot train a good attitude. So if you come in and your attitude is poor, generally you won't make it through our vetting process, just because we know that then when you get out in the field that bad attitude permeates lots of things and none of the desired outcomes that we're looking for. The great thing about ag kids is they're often faced with deadlines. The hay's got to get bucked up, or the pot has to get seeded. And they've been given a great deal of responsibility at a young age and really know how to handle it, to deal with it, and to make good decisions when the path is not clear, because they've been doing similar things. So attitude is our number one, and also having that responsibility of, when they're baling hay with the tractor, they know that their family can't afford to lose that tractor, so they're going to take care of it. They're going to make sure it's greased. They're going to make sure it's not dripping coolant, and so on and so forth. And much is true with our equipment. If our equipment doesn't work, then you can't earn money. So those are the things that we like, and we just find that ag background kids just get it. And that's why that, if we're given a choice in between an ag background kid and a town kid, 9 times out of 10 we'll choose the ag background if their attitude's good, and attitude is so important.
Most definitely, attitude is a key, and you can't teach it. That's something that has to be inside.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're going to jump around here just a little bit, although I do have another panel question. We're going to go to the Facebook Live, and Shannon Boswell, who congratulations, Shannon, on your new role at the OPI. The question she wants to ask the panel is, what are the skills you think high school students can be working on in school, even if they are not sure what they want to do? And that's a big question. As a sophomore in high school, do you really want to know what you want to be when you grow up? How many here on the panel knows what they want to be when they grow up? I mean, let me ask that. What are some of the skills that they can be working on in high school? And Mary, let's start with you. What are some of the skills in high school that they should be working on?
Okay. Well, I think we've alluded to it a little bit. Brenda talked about it at some point. The communication skills are so important. I don't care what industry you go into, whether you're going to go into like a business accounting route or a skilled trade or any in the agriculture industries, you have got to be able to communicate. So written and verbal both. You have to be able to express yourself in a manner where you can get your point across, of course, without offending people, and try to get the explanations down. So you dread going to English class. Well, guess what? You really need to pay attention in English class. You really need to get your writing down, at least to the point. Maybe your grammar or spelling isn't exactly where it needs to be, but at least to the point where you can express your thoughts and things across in a written format. And that includes learning how to email. I've had a lot of employers say to me, gosh, I have these young kids that are coming in and they don't even know how to write a company email. Dear Mr. Smith, or today I worked on this piece of equipment and attached is a document showing you the work order or whatever. I mean, you have to be able to do that. So writing is extremely important, and the verbal as well. And then with that also comes, if there's I don't know if the high schools have psychology classes. There again, if you're dreading a psychology class, learn from that and be a sponge. It goes along with the attitude that Tyler mentioned, and it goes along with the types of workers and the teamwork that Bill talked about. You have to be able to work with people that you maybe don't like. And so psychology comes into play there, and how that all works together. And then if you do decide to go into college, don't dread taking those writing classes, and don't dread taking a psychology class. In fact, I highly recommend it, that you hone in those skills. With that, I will say, I was talking to the regional manager for tractor and equipment here just in the last few months before I left Northern, and he's told me, if I have a diesel mechanic that's working on a piece of equipment and I have a bill that I have to give a customer that's $200,000 for working on that equipment, the work order and the report that goes along with that piece of equipment better be a $200,000 piece of written work. They have to have that information. So communication, written, oral, and the psychology and the working with teams and getting along with people, that's the biggest thing that you can take to any industry that you decide to go into.
Thank you. One question, which I think is a good one for you. How do you balance personal life and some of these other things? These kids have their projects, their SAEs. You got kids that are to do jobs, go to school, and play basketball. How do you suggest balancing all of that?
You know, we really work a lot on trying to make sure you have a calendar and you lay out and schedule and manage your time. Time management is so important. Having time for yourself, having time for your family, having time scheduled for everything, and then having an organized manner in which you want to approach it. You know, don't overwhelm yourself, and don't be afraid to tell somebody no when they ask you to do things that are outside the scope or outside the things that are going to be able to help you reach your goals and where you want to be. For us, we set up and we look at our calendars monthly, and then we look at an overall yearly calendar, and then try and plan everything out. We really work a lot with our athletes on time management and time planning, because so much goes into making sure that you want to make sure everything comes together the way you want it. Just manage your time a little bit, and don't be afraid to sit down. You can adjust things and change things up if you have it planned out. So we really think it's important. Use your calendar, manage your time, and don't be afraid to have a plan on how you want to attack things.
Okay, so we are at the 1 o'clock hour. If you have to leave as a panelist, we understand. Go ahead and go back to work. We're getting quite a few questions here. I'd like to hit a couple more. Are you guys good with hanging on for just a short 3 or 4 more hours?
Sure.
Okay, maybe not that long, but are you guys good with hanging out for a few more minutes here?
I have a couple more minutes, and I'll need to go.
Okay, yeah, if you do, just click out. We certainly appreciate you being here. One of the questions we had on here was about mentors. How did you find mentors for yourself? How did you reach out to them? And, mentorship is so important in all of society. Brenda, talk about some of the mentors that you might have had.
Certainly. Mentorship is, and that's finding the mentors that I've had say that in high school, it was really looking towards those teachers in our academic atmosphere about how they presented themselves for business. You know, what did the business teacher, how she presented those business opportunities. Going into college, it was really, you get some of those mentors from your professors, and having some professors there that were so supportive of someone that, wanted to do 2 different types of degrees and be able to work through those. But the most important ones, I do believe, are taking advantage of those career day opportunities where you get a chance to shadow or do an internship. Those are some really great opportunities. And I would have to say that just even my summer jobs throughout college, or those abilities to meet people who embodied what I thought like a business professional or someone in that field should look like and what they should do. Those folks then really imparted a lot of knowledge in my internships. I think internships are really important. And at our firm, we offer mentorship from day one. So you are paired up with a mentor who then helps coach you from whatever path that you want to grow on. And those are, I'm a mentor of a variety of folks in the staff, and I love it because I get a chance, they can bounce their ideas off of me, and the ability to figure out where they want to grow in their path. And those mentors can, and you can have different kinds of mentors. I like to point that out to people too. It might not just be in your industry. Maybe it's somebody in a similar business that just has the types of skills or leadership presence that you admire. Reach out to them, pay them, let them know, pay them that compliment of saying, hey, what are your tips? And be able to ask them those questions. I have no doubt that if there's someone that you admire for that, they're going to take the time to be able to talk with you about what it is that will help you succeed.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brenda. Just been notified that we are now in the speed round, so all answers are 1 minute and less. We've got basically one question I'm going to ask each of you. It's kind of on that same line. It's service. Each one of you have stepped out of your comfort zone, out of your wheelhouse to serve your communities and to do things above and beyond. Bill, since you got to go, I'll give you the first chance. Give me your 60-second answer on what service means to you, some of the things you're doing, and why it's important.
Well, service is just invaluable. I mean, we need to build a community. If you want to have a successful business and a successful place, you got to have a successful community. And I'm a big believer in giving back to the community. I coach for the University of Providence for free because of that, and it's just part of giving back. We give tons of money back in all different areas of the community because it helps other people grow and be successful. And it's not just about yourself. It's about helping other people grow and success and reach their goals. Not only the kids with going to school, but also the other businesses, community around you. You want everybody to be successful because without a successful community, you can't be successful.
And I'll back that, Bill. You are a big supporter of the community. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. I'm going to switch over to Tyler since we kind of skipped you here for a second. I'll give you 90 seconds since you didn't get to answer the last question.
Very, very generous of you, sir. I will try not to take it. So, service, I go clear back to my high school welding shop teacher. Dave Barta was a tremendous teacher at Haver High. One day he said, Mr. Smith, are you part of the solution or are you part of the problem? And that's really what I view service. It takes those of us standing up and being part of the solution. And that is serving your community in various ways, whether you sit on a board of a local museum or, whatever you do to bring solutions. Anybody can complain online, but it takes true leadership to go to the public meetings, to serve for, if you want to call it the greater good, that's essentially what it is. I believe that as you serve, you will see, those good deeds come back to you. And it's just part of giving back for what you're getting. And it's just the way things should work.
Thank you, Tyler. That was 92 seconds, but I'm not going to dock you for it. We know what you mean there. Brenda, I'll turn it to you since your face popped up on my screen first. Give me your 60-second version on service.
Sure. I think service is an underlying factor in everyday life. I think you've got to look for ways to improve the world around you, to utilize your skills and make it better. I mean, we want to live in great communities. We want our communities to attract people that we want to work with and that we want to have surround us. And the best way to do that is to get out there and serve. Being a volunteer for many years in 4-H and continuing that, it's been awesome. I love watching youth develop, and I just encourage all youth to take an advantage to get out there and volunteer in some way, whatever makes you excited to do, whether it's at the animal shelter, whether it's in 4-H or some other type of activity. Get out there and do that, and then seek a career that actually does that too. That's a key core in our firm of being able to get out there. We have Spirit of Service days where we close down the whole office and go out and do good. And that's what I like to see, is being able to build our community and do good there.
Thank you, Brenda. We appreciate it. And we're going to finish where we started with Mary. Here's your 60-second chance to tell me about service.
I basically would say ditto to what everybody's saying. There's so many opportunities to serve your community. It doesn't have to be something extravagant and that takes up a plethora of time. It could be something as simple as reading to young kids, and like in high school, if you're in high school, maybe go over to the elementary side of the school and volunteer to read to kids during before their nap time or something with the kindergarten. It could be, look at what's happened to us the last couple of months. I've seen some amazing young people step forward in this virus, and they've delivered groceries to the elderly at their home because, with the high risk people, and they've helped maybe with some yard work. Maybe I think there was a group of young kids in Helena that stood outside and the rang the doorbells and sang to some people. There's just so many things you can do, and you're absolutely right on what you said with we want good communities. We want people to work together. And maybe you have a neighbor that needs help during calving, or the forest fires in 2017. We had young kids at Northern that went out and rebuilt fences for those farmers and ranchers that have the forest fires come through. So there's so many opportunities that you can do and things that you can get involved in. So make the world a better place, and that's just better for everybody.
Agreed. Thank you very much, Mary. Thank you to their panel. That is the end of our questions, so I am going to turn it back over to Gwen.
Hey, thanks so much, Randy, for moderating this discussion, and thank you to all of our panelists. I know Bill hopped off, but Brenda, Mary, and Tyler, thank you very much, all of you, for coming on and taking the time out of your day to have this conversation. I think it's incredibly vital that our students can hear from successful industry professionals of the different opportunities that there are for them. And even myself, I've been writing kind of furiously all of the notes from the great discussion we had today. I think there were some great points made about how students can choose different careers, but then also finding ways to give back to their communities and to continue to be leaders, even though they might not be very experienced, they still help out and be active leaders that way. And that's a huge part of what we do with FFA. So I really love hearing that message from all of you. Once again, I'd like to thank Bankers, Reach Higher Montana, Pioneer Meats, and the Montana Department of Agriculture for sponsoring this event. And I'd like to thank everyone who is able to watch right now and those of you who will be watching this in the future. And I'd like to throw out a little reminder that we are having our virtual state FFA convention on Wednesday and Thursday, May 20th through the 21st. So we hope to see you all again for that virtual convention. And with that, we're up our panel here. So thank you again for everyone who participated in this year's virtual Montana FFA Career and Industry panel. So we'll see you all down the road.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.